Do you ever get caught up in an endless spiral of emails, quick tasks, and messages? Well, in this episode, I'm going to talk about why deep work is so important, what some of the most successful founders and authors have to say about it, and what I'm tactically doing today. This is built from scratch. I interview entrepreneurs under 30 to hear about their success and do a couple solo episodes once in a while. My name is Eric Libby, and I own the To-Do Dudes in Central Florida. It's a home service company that connects students to homeowners that need help with chores. So to dive right into it, why deep work matters. And I just want to share a reflection. I'll start with the reflection that I had this past week. When I look back over the past couple years on the work that I've done, and I look towards the work that I'm doing that is actually, in a way, moving the company forward, where I feel like I'm actually making progress. It's the big tasks that weren't just these quick emails, messages, things that only took maybe a couple hours to do. Like, just notably, we changed CRMs last year, and that took 3 months to completely get everybody up to speed with. We built a data sheet that took about 2 months with consistent revisions to it, where many hours had to go into it. And it's like all these little systems that have been put in place. It took us a while to get there. It took a lot of time, but it's like those are the things that actually moved the needle forward the most. Like, those are the things that we reflect on today. Like, wow, we made a lot of progress. And if I look back a month, I can't even remember some of the tasks, some of the emails I sent. I'm like, I have no, even a week, I don't even remember. The biggest reflection is like, well, why do we spend all this time doing these things that don't provide nearly as much value as we think we do? In the moment, it seems very important. But then you fast forward a week, a month, a year, and it's like, were those small things really that important? And my reflection is, I think it very much is. In the second part here, I have a quote from an author, a basketball player, former basketball player, and an entrepreneur. So there's an author named Adam Grant. He's published many different books. I think maybe 8+. He's still a pretty young guy. And one of the things in one of his books that I read about, and I really liked, this was maybe 2 years ago, is during the day, he'll be in office and he puts his email as out of office and is also puts a paper on his door. He's a university teacher, professor, and it says out of office. And it was funny because one person went into his classroom and we're like, you're here today. Like, what are you doing? And it was just his way of like being intentionally focused, knowing that nobody's going to interrupt if it's out of office or I'm not even here. And so reflection there is like, okay, well, maybe there's some truth to that. It's like being able to be clear of like, I am not available today to focus. This is part one, planting some seeds. I'm going to come back to these. So Steve Jobs had a quote when he was living, and it said, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on, but it's not what it means. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas. Innovation is saying no to the 1,000 things. Obviously, Steve Jobs, one of the most successful entrepreneurs ever in history. I mean, his products live way longer than his life. And so his focus is, it's not about 1,000 things. There's all these important ideas. There's all these important things that we could be doing, but it's like, what's that one thing? You have to say no to everything else. What's that one thing that's going to really drive you forward? And the third and final one, and this is relevant to me because working in some of these deep work blocks that I've been going through and these times where I'm spending more focused energy, there's been some times where it's been frustrating. Like I've been emotional. I've just been like, man, I can't even think anymore. Like my brain is shot. I feel like I should have figured this out like 4 hours ago and I'm still like looking at the same screen. When we work hard on a problem, it's like this refinement that we're having of our being, almost like of our spirit. Like we're like being put through fire to craft us. And if we rely too much on the quick stimulation, the gratifying victories, the achievement, it's going to be really hard when you're trying to persevere through the times when things get tougher, when you get slowed down. Kobe Bryant had a great quote when he was doing an interview with Nick Saban. And he said, you have to love the process, the daily grind. Him and Nick Saban were just talking about the keys to success for some of the greats of all time that ever played basketball, football, any other sport like that. Kobe just said there was so many times when it was like we were losing, like we weren't doing good, or maybe we were winning and we had to continue. And it's like, you have to love the game. You have to love the process of refinement. And it's tough. Being difficult is a good thing because then on the other side of it, you're going to see a whole new character in yourself. Like we go through it and we can't see it at the time. Like, man, this sucks. This is terrible. Like I can't do this. This is frustrating. It's like all those are virtues you're just building onto yourself, onto your character. Those are tools you're putting in your tool belt. So now when I think about my deep work routine, I have a couple things that I do. when I do want to approach a time where I'm concentrated, I'm ready to go. The first one is having actually enough time to get into deep work. So every week, my Wednesdays are my deep work days. So I block off that entire day. I don't do Zoom meetings. I don't do team communication. If I do, extremely minimal towards the very back end of the day, if we have a lot of stuff that needs to be pushed through. But I just basically block off an entire day because it gives enough time. If you just put maybe 90 minutes or maybe a half a day, your brain can only think about, you only have so much time to think about it. Once you stop and then you go into the next task, it's gone. And it's like sometimes like wrapping your mind completely around the problem. That's at least been helpful to me. And so what I do, because obviously you can't just be like hardcore typing away on the computer for the entire day. What has been beneficial is setting a kitchen timer. I have a little dial that I'll turn to 90 minutes and then I'll hit it. And so 90 minutes go by, I make sure I'm locked into my computer that entire time. And then once I finish, then I take a little break, go on a little walk, maybe walk my dog, maybe just like stand up and just stretch. I'm like, okay, I need to like get out of this for a second and then able to come back in. It makes it a little bit more manageable where you put 90 minutes on and then you're intentional, like, okay, these 90 minutes, I'm going to make sure I get this done. So that's kind of my unit, is one work block is 90 minutes, and I try and do like a massive work block day on my Wednesdays and then weekends too. I mean, that's another great time. If you're a business owner and you're trying to get ahead, Saturdays and Sundays, a lot of people aren't going to bother you. That's the time where you have to be putting in the extra effort. And the transition to like the preparation for a deep work day, because that's great. You can block off the whole day, but if there's a lot of things to do, or maybe your mind's foggy, like it's just not going to happen. So to get in there on the preparation for a deep work day, there's 3 things that I do, trying to be intentional about. First one is going to be sleep. And this might be overrated for some, or maybe just not important for others, but there's a notable difference. And I've made this mistake so many times and I continue to make it. But when I jump into a focused time where I need to be using a lot of brain power, if I get under 7 hours of sleep, my head's bobbing because I'm working on a really hard problem. Like I need to be fully mindful and just intentional with the way I'm thinking. And there's no way I can do it. And there's been times in the past where I haven't gotten the 7 hours and I just wanted to sleep. Trying to run into something difficult, like, it's almost like your brain's using a lot of RAM to try and figure stuff out. And so it's just being, and again, intentional about that as you dive into one of those deep work blocks. The second thing I noticed, and it actually this last Sunday was a great example of it. Saturday was a really bad deep work day. I tried focusing. I got really caught up on quick texts and messages and little tasks, and I got severely distracted. Sunday, I'm like, all right, I'm going to fast part of the day to be able to be mentally clear and make sure I get this problem done. And then once I do finish, then I'll allow myself to eat in the afternoon. And so maybe it's not to that extreme in some cases, but just eating light. If you eat a heavy, big meal, again, your mind's going to be foggy. You need all the brain power you can get when you're focusing on that one big thing that's going to solve the problem. And then the third thing I do, more on like a communication standpoint, is communicating with the people that are relying on you that you are going to be doing that. So I've noticed, again, a good difference between when I do communicate with the team, like, hey, I'm going to have a deep work block this day, to when I don't. When I do, I feel like I'm actually able to almost like clear that mental task out of my mind. When I don't, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh shoot, do I need to text them about something? Are they looking for help on something? Did I need to respond to the Slack message? So I try my best to be intentional about that, even around maybe it's family, friends. Just like, hey, heads up, I'm going to be out of office completely. I'm going to be MIA. I need to work on this specific, very intentional task. I'm not going to be around. So that's another thing I do, and I think that has made a world of difference. And also the team knows and can be on the same page and also be supportive of whatever goal you're actually trying to work on, that big problem you're trying to solve. So as I said, this is more just like a takeaway as to what I'm going through right now. And I'm just the realization that deep work, when we do that, it's the things that drive the company so much further forward. It's when we are actually making progress. Unfortunately, we've gotten into this cycle of these emails and quick tasks. And of course we do, because it's easy. Like, those are the easy things. When you spend an hour and a half over and over and over and over again, or a full day on something, or taking all this time, it's a 2 week, a month project, like diving into that sometimes is just not fun. And so Obviously, we want to do the quick things, but we just have to remember that those are not the things that drive us forward. Those are not the things that make the most progress. So as a reflection, the takeaways from this time is block a full day or deep work. Maybe choose a day. Wednesday, no email, no Slack, no interruptions, just your big rock that you're working on. Second takeaway is say no to everything else. Like Steve Jobs said, it's better to do one thing than 1,000 things. That one thing matters. Third is maybe use like a kitchen timer. Use something that you can time yourself and then be like, okay, I'm going to focus for this amount of time. If it's tough to just have this never ending, I'm going to work for the entire day, maybe even break it up. And fourth and finally is prepare for the deep work day. So get the sleep, eat light, communicate with the team as to what you're doing, and then stick to it. Stick to it. So as a reflection, just this week, I want you to be thinking about what's the one big rock that I need to move forward? What's the one problem that with concentrated time that I think I could solve? What else needs to be cut out of the things I'm doing right now to actually move my mission forward? I'd encourage you to pick one thing, that one problem you're experiencing and run at it extremely hard. So that's all I have for you today. If you liked the episode, if you could share it or even just like it on whatever platform you listen to, that would mean the world. And keep crushing the day. Let's keep moving.